Felipe Phil Manuel Fidalgo, "To Give More Than You Get" by Skip Martin. Phil grew up in Edmonton, Alberta, and was born on November 10th, 1984, in a Portuguese household where football was just the culture. He wasn't encouraged to play at all and didn't play any organized soccer until grade 9 due to his dad being an ironworker and concrete finisher out of town and mom not having a Canadian driver's license. Like so many parents today, Phil's parents didn't have any time or money to support expensive club soccer in Edmonton. He played in the streets and the schoolyard with his friends and still improved exponentially in areas other kids did not because of this freestyle nature of play that is encouraged back in Portugal. At age 15, he played for his first club, which was Inter in Edmonton, and by 16 he had played men's soccer as well to develop good habits on and off the ball. When Phil would go back to Portugal as a kid, he would play in Portuguese street tournaments. In Portugal, there isn't a ton of flat ground to put a giant soccer field. Instead, they have futsal courts, which is a small concrete pitch that will last basically forever and does not require any maintenance. These courses teach players how to deal with all kinds of conditions and adapts technique to be perfect. Additionally, it trains players to move on and off the ball and develop certain habits that you can miss out on in the big game. Playing with all ages helped Phil learn how to use his body with bigger players or play smarter around stronger and quicker players. Phil noticed this later in his coaching career that players in Canada lack these fundamentals built in Europe, South America, and Africa based on the over-structured play that we have in Canada. He learned that it is infinitely more valuable to struggle against players of all ages rather than to stay in Tier 1 and to quote, pump teams 20 to nothing and inflate ego for a week. Phil started an academy in Edmonton with the aim in teaching these values to players here. The First Class Football Academy was one of his first projects where he started a practice-only academy where there was no pressure to make mistakes and the focus was on small-sided play and eventually making pathways from players from Canada to Portugal. Um, he took his FCFA team to Portugal for trials and showcase friendlies where he was able to show firsthand the levels it takes to go pro. Certain players from his academy in 2022 made it on professional teams and are still in Portugal in and around the pro system. Phil started coaching at a young age as a simple favor for a friend's dad. This sparked the interest and passion for coaching. Phil's coaching accreditations are of the highest standard, completing his CONCACAF B license, European C license, which is respected significantly higher than any North American licenses, FC Barcelona Academy certificate, and after taking his academy to Portugal, he stayed to coach a semi-professional club, ARC Paco Senhores, and coach a grassroots academy in Portugal called CRC Tabora. Phil asked that given his current position at North Atletico Football Club, that the organization that he has certain disagreements with be unnamed. Phil's goal with the minor soccer club was to lower fees because he knows there are many quality players who cannot afford to play and cannot afford to travel too far for practices. In his club, his ideal format would be the lower tiers pay the most and the top teams pay little to nothing. He stated that in Canada this is not possible because of the value put on equality versus equity. Instead, he tried to keep costs low as possible with various payment plans available for players in different financial situations. Phil explained that the unnamed governing body forced him to raise his seasonal fees as they were too close to the fees of community teams, in which the government provides funding for. And if the club was registering a significant amount of players from community, At that low cost, the unnamed governing body would not profit as much, which is especially strange given the governing body is allegedly a non-for-profit organization. When asked about his greatest accomplishments, Phil's first thoughts were not with medals or tournaments he won, but instead focused on the relationships he built with players and opportunities he created for kids who may never have had the chance. Phil partnered with Down Syndrome Society Edmonton to put on a free camp for kids in 2022. Uh, and in this camp, it was a fun kick around for kids with Down syndrome and gave them the opportunity to play. As well, Phil was quite happy with certain players uh, that he has coached and who the people that they have become off the field. One player he coached decided to take up mixed martial arts after his soccer career was done, and as Phil describes him now as the monster, his work ethic and attitudes prevailed far beyond his experiences made in soccer. Phil expressed that what he wants most to be remembered as, apart from a good coach, is someone who gave more than he got and did not ask for anything extra. In a system where every coach and club wants more money and each player wants more opportunities, with most coaches only supplying this with financial incentives, Phil wants to put the focus back on producing good players and provide good players with good opportunities regardless of the circumstances. Here are my references, and thank you.